Hey, this is Roland from PMI JCM Realty Group, where we manage properties from an asset management perspective. This is a topic that we really don't want to talk about, but it's part of the business, and you have to make sure you understand how to do this right, or else it can put you in a world of trouble, a world of hurt, and you could be spending a lot of money for no reason. So first thing I want to tell you is that the best way to keep a bad tenant out of your property is to not let them in. Now, having said that, if you do get a tenant that you do have to evict, I want to give you 5 tips that can make your eviction process as painless as possible, right? So this may be your first eviction. It may be, you may be a pro at it. And I think regardless of where you are on the spectrum, this information will definitely help you move forward and do your perform your evictions in a streamlined and an efficient way to help you reduce the stress that it typically causes most rental property owners. So the first tip that I want to give you is before you listen to me, right? Before you hear what I have to say about rental property evictions, know your laws. And I believe in what Einstein says, never try to remember what you can look up. Um, you need to make sure you have a good attorney on deck and available on your team that can help you understand and go through that eviction process as efficiently and effective as possible, because reality is because of the pandemic, some states and cities have different rules and regulations. They have some extensions that have been put in place. There's rent forgiveness that's been put in place. I know in my county, Hillsborough County in Florida, I mean, you have millions of dollars that's available to renters, and so eviction may not even be your best step, because you can actually get money for those tenants that aren't able to pay. But at the end of the day, know the rules. Keep your attorney close by, because they're going to be very important in this process. Whenever you go to court, things have to be done in a certain structured way. And if you have anything off, your case can get thrown out. So the first tip is understand your state laws. The second tip that I want to give you is be clear about your grounds for eviction, right? So you have several different types of notices you can give, right? You can give your notice to pay or quit, pay your rent and quit. You have a notice that you can give to cure or quit. So if they have an issue that they're violating the lease, you give them 7 days or something like that to fix the issue before you evict them. And then you have the notice to quit, like, hey, listen, we're just going to end the relationship. There's nothing for you to do other than to leave and move out and return possession of the property. You need to be clear on what grounds you're trying to evict them on, and make sure that you have all your documentation um, for for that as well. So the second tip is to be clear about the grounds for eviction. The third tip is be thorough with your official notices and timeline. I have a process server that I send out with every notice that I send out. You got to make sure you have the right property address. You got to make sure you have the right amount owed. You have to make sure you have the clear definitions of eviction. You have to have a final date for a resolution or move out date. And you need to also make sure you have clear language in your lease to support your grounds for eviction, right? All of that is crucially important. And if you have a good attorney, they'll make sure they run through those questions for you to make sure you have all of that information. So the third tip is be thorough in your official notices and timelines. The fourth tip is be patient, because evictions can take time. Generally speaking, after the fifth is if the tenant doesn't pay. That's when I start my process. I want to get the tenant out as quickly as possible, either getting the tenant out as quickly as possible or get the issue resolved as quickly as possible. I don't give extensions. I really don't. And the reason why I don't give extensions is because they can extend it out to the heavens. And I don't have time for that. I have to protect my owner's interest. And because of that, I start my eviction processes early. And I recommend you, if you're the owner, I know sometimes you can be emotionally attached to your property and you want to give people chances, but you can do things in parallel. I mean, like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. Um, Make sure you have all the processes in place, and if they decide that they want to not follow the process or not go follow through what they're going to say they're going to do, you're already halfway there to the eviction. So be patient. Understand the eviction can take time. Usually it could take anywhere from 30 to 60 days depending on your state and your city. So it goes back to number one, knowing your rules and regulations, knowing your state eviction laws, and starting a process early. But like I said, rule number four is be patient, because eviction can take time. And so for the fifth one, be prepared for an eviction hearing. Not all eviction processes go through to the full hearing where you have a writ of possession presented to get the property, and sheriff has to go out. Most times, once you've given them notice, generally speaking, people move out because they don't want an eviction on the record because it would hinder them from being able to get another rental property, right? But make sure you have, if you have to go to a hearing, make sure you have your official lease. Make sure you have the proof of negligent payment or bad checks. Make sure you have records for every tenant payment ever made. Make sure you have copies of communications and dates, even if they're in text messages. Make sure you have those as well. And make sure you have proof of the eviction notice, including the proof of receipt by the tenant. And you can do that by using a qualified quality process server. Because if I'm not mistaken, the process servers are officers of the court, just like a sheriff or an attorney. So they're sworn in just like everyone else. And so getting that information, getting them to serve your tenants definitely puts the law on your side. And, in law, possession is 9/10 of the law. Um, and so if you're facing your first eviction process and still need assistance, let us help. We can step in and offer eviction process structure you need and ultimately make the flow much easier and give you the advice to streamline the process moving forward. We can also provide you ideas of retrieving past due payments and post eviction wherever possible. And I can tell you, I had a situation recently where I inherited a tenant that our owner had with another property management company, and that tenant hadn't paid for 4 months. I was able to get the past 4 months paid, the current months paid, and the commitment to get the next 12 months paid on behalf of this tenant. Now, before that, we were thinking about evicting the tenant, but since there is money out there available for these tenants, I was able to work the system and get that money for that particular tenant. So we didn't have to go through the eviction process. And it gives us time, if after 12 months they still can't pay their rent or they still need the assistance and they don't have money, then we can move forward and do what we need to do. But the point that I'm trying to make is that sometimes eviction is not the best choice, particularly when there's funds available to pay for these non-paid tenants. We continue to explore the rental property investment trends in the Tampa area market. If this eviction-related topic sparks your interest to learn more, sign up right now for our free webinar. Discover additional efficiencies based on the strategies and how to streamline your rental property portfolio for maximum growth. It's just another ever-changing topic for every rental property owner to discuss. You can also find answers by joining our Facebook group, where we have investors that get together and they discuss the different issues that they have and they exchange ideas. It's something that you definitely want to join if you want to get free information and free advice on property management and eviction topics. And if you have more specific or unique questions that you want us to answer for you, reach out to me directly. The link is in this article to put a meeting on my calendar, but you can reach out to me directly at 813-333-9617. You can also reach me by email at rcharles@pmijcmrealty.com. And you can also reach me at my website at pmijcmrealty.com. Thank you and have a great day.